Is this thing on? Is it rolling? I can't tell. Y'all ladies ready yet?
Almost. Yeah.
All right. What are we doing?
Ready. I'm doing 18.
I'm 16.
And we're doing 14.
I just thought there was food. I just came for the food.
After.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. Wait. Get back here.
We are
Team
Flippin' Awesome! Alright, so I had number 18, identify students' current knowledge before instruction. The basic definition of this is identifying and building upon students' prior knowledge, cultures, and experiences to guide and enhance instruction. Why should we do it? One reason is for engagement. A lot of times students may feel disengaged or they may be a little bit bored, and this is a great way to engage your students. Another reason is for relevance. Popular question, why is this important? Why do we need this? This is a perfect opportunity to show students and have them actually come to the realization on their own about what the relevance is to their lives. Also for retention, if you can tie something that you already know to something that you're learning, it doesn't necessarily seem like you're learning something completely new, but it's more like you're building upon something you already knew. Some standards that it connects to are facilitating instruction, connecting to relevance, and adapting your instruction to students' comments and prior knowledge. Some tips that you can use is to connect to popular culture, explore and link languages and cultures, take advantage of student interests, and build relevance and incorporate a student voice. Some practices that we can discuss later will be in the hot seat, 3-step interview, the first word, brainstorming, which we should all be pretty familiar with, and think, pair, share. So as you are practicing probing your students' prior knowledge, this is a checklist that you can use to see if you've been successful in doing so. Number 1, do I use instructional practices to tap into prior knowledge? Number 2, do I help students make connection? Number 3, do I open a unit or lesson to capture students' attention? 4, do I build on comments and questions made by students? And lastly, do I adapt my instruction around my students' conversations? Hopefully that helped.
16 on the equitable practices says uses multiple approaches to consistently monitor students' understanding of instruction, directions, procedures, processes, questions, and content. The meaning of seeking multiple perspectives or approaches, it means that teachers foster a learning environment that incorporates the perspective of diverse people based on culture, ethnicity, race, and overall background. Applications in the classroom may be where the teacher poses a question or an idea based on a book, article, text, or topic recently studied. The students in this case would be writing down their responses to the question or idea, and they would provide evidence based on the resources that they have. Once prompted by the teacher, the student would give their response or their idea about the topic or the question, and not only paying attention to giving their point of view, but also listening to other students' point of view. Strategies to facilitate multiple perspectives is randomly grouping students, using cooperative learning structures such as home expert groups or think, pair, share, and arranging classrooms to facilitate discussion like a Socratic seminar or literacy circles. Obstacles would be getting students to actually feel open and free enough to express their opinions or their ideas. And another obstacle could be structure. Teachers can help by encouraging students to share their ideas and opinions, creating opportunities for students to personalize information from their lives to connect with what they're learning, and consider all points of views, seek multiple responses to questions, team building and classroom building to reinforce peer relationships, and then detailed, clear instructions.
All right, so number 14 was using probing and clarifying techniques to assist students with their answers. So what is it? It's just a series of questions that helps students respond based upon their first answer. So from that, you're going to create your own questions based upon the student's response. So why is that necessary? 60% of the questions as teachers that we ask only require students to recall facts. 20% of those questions are just procedural. So asking questions about them following directions. Did you understand those directions? Do you know where you should go? And then 20%, which is where we all need to be, are the questions that require students to actually think. So here are some examples that go with each type of probing question. So number 1 is clarifying. So you ask a student, could they elaborate on their point? 2 is increasing critical awareness. So how would an opponent of this point of view respond? 3 is, can you relate to this? And you'll fill in the blank with, can you relate this to math? 4 is prompting. What does the prefix bio mean? And then you would follow that question with, so what does biology mean? So once the students have established that they understand part of a concept, then you follow up with an additional question. 5, redirecting to another student. So maybe Amber is going to be asked to elaborate based upon Courtney's answer. So it's just keeping everybody actively participating as a student. You're making them think deeply. As the teacher, you're just going to follow through with the probing answers. The teacher has to do a good job of listening because the questions are going to be followed with additional questions based upon what students are responding. So if you plan ahead, you can have some questions already written down and established about what students may have to say. You have a good idea of what students may already know, and any ideas as far as misconceptions could also follow into questions. So this also matches our standard for facilitating learning, so teachers know how students learn best. So through this and through pre-planning, you can get this done. I personally use popsicle sticks in my class, but this can be done in multiple ways.
DJ Khaled! Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind.
Lovely lady, lovely lass. How are you, mates? Tell you. I know, you're used to me peddling car insurance. But today, we're talking about probing questions. How to better engage your students. Okay, so here we go. Now, see, with my paws here, I can't really use the markers for the board, so I'm just gonna have to do this. That's my whiteboard. How about that?
And they stay there, and they say yeah.
All right, so what we're talking about is the QAR. That's the question-answer relationship. And this is wonderful for collaborative group work, classroom talk, even literacy groups perhaps, when you're using the question-answer relationship. Now, I've seen this done beautifully as simple in an elementary school national board lesson that I videotaped. The teacher had the students grouped as math mates. So when she asked a question, the hands went up and they stayed there. Oh, okay. But then she said, "Are you sure?" and gave them wait time. Then she said, "Talk with your math mate and come up with an answer." So in QAR, you could group your students as partners or as a team, but you've got to make sure everybody in the group has a meaningful role. So there are basically 4 types of questions in the QAR. The simple, right there it is. There's the fact. There's the definition of the concept you want them to understand. Part 2 is the author and me. You have to research and find the answer in the text somewhere. Step 3, think and search. We're digging a little bit deeper each time. The answer is just not in one part of the text. You've got to go to several different places to find the answer. And then the highest order, digging the deepest, is on my own, where the students have to relate, have to connect it with prior learning, some sort of concept they've learned, and you can also redirect with justification. Why do you think that? Or how did you come up with that answer? So those are the basic 4 steps of your QAR. Can I get a latte? Does anybody have a latte?